we need to become more aware of how we think, of whatever that default is. And because of our skills, because of our experience, because of our background, because of our education, we have developed this framework, this paradigm of how we view things. And the great gift and the great downfall is that it restricts us in certain ways. It creates this kind of addiction to a very singular viewpoint that excludes a lot of other potential ideas. And we call this very singular viewpoint, this addiction to one viewpoint, a category preference. There's a famous a case study happened in the 80s in the healthcare sector. A group of bacteriologists discovered a bacteria that was found to cause stomach ulcers. And gastroenterologists, they refuted this. They didn't pay attention to this data for over a decade because in their worldview, bacteria couldn't survive in the gut. It didn't survive, and so they never studied it. And for years, the bacteriologists couldn't figure out kind of like what to do. They had made this new discovery, but nobody was taking it seriously. And so what they did, they got creative. They innovated in actually how they branded it, and they called it a new class of disease. And when they called it a new class of disease, the gastroenterologists said, okay, well, that's okay. What's a new class? It doesn't threaten our belief system. And so it got accepted into the medical sort of vocabulary, the medical dictionary, and it's something that, it's pretty standard. We all understand that this bacteria exists in us today. The lesson from this is to develop category consciousness. Category consciousness is about really becoming aware of how our limitations are holding us back. We need to unhabit ourselves, and it requires awareness, mindfulness, presence of our thoughts, our preferences, our judgments. Doing what you can to really develop that self-awareness so that we know we're putting our category preferences into a particular situation and perhaps blocking a great idea from coming to fruition.